I'm South Shore Press News Director Stefan Mihailu, joined by South Shore Press Sports Director Tom Barton. Tom, how are you?
Doing great. I'm in the middle of we don't get sleep. It's March. Baseball's coming. You got the basketballs in full gear. We got football news, and it's great. Can you see the bags under my eyes? But it's great.
Yeah, no judgment here on lack of sleep and your hard work, which I'll attest to both. We'll start with football first. Just your thoughts on Russell Wilson going to the Giants.
Well, look, I know Giant fans were hoping for bigger and better things, but Russell Wilson had a good year last year in a limited offense, and Mr. Unlimited, just needs a limited offense, and they clearly don't like what they're seeing come draft time. At least to start this year. That doesn't mean that Shadir Sanders may not be going to them. They don't think that he's ready for this year. So they went out, they got Winston, they got Russell Wilson. I think it's a good situation for the Giants for a stopgap. Why force it, right? If it's not there, you don't have to force things. The Giants aren't winning the Super Bowl this year anyway, no matter who's back there at quarterback. You could probably resurrect Tom Brady and bring him back there at quarterback. And yeah, even then, it's a situation where Wilson's only getting $10 million. You're going to read 21. It's only $10 million guaranteed, where you could throw Jameis Winston in their secondary and you could still draft a Shadir Sanders. Maybe down the line, you draft somebody else in the second or third round, and maybe you find your quarterback of the future. But for right now, let's not force it. And the Giants are telling Giant fans, hey, this is a one-year stopgap. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it seems like they're just clearly building in the draft for the future and not using either one of those two quarterbacks to win right now.
Yeah, which is perfectly fine. Look, I've always been the kind of component of the worst thing to do is finish in the middle, right? The worst thing to do is barely make the wild card, barely miss the wild card. You're always getting picked like 15, 16, right around there. No, if you're going to tear it down, tear it completely down and start from fresh. Or you go all in. The Giants are clearly not ready to go all in, so you're tearing it down. Give them an opportunity to tear it down. Look, they did a terrible job last year in letting Barkley go, letting that be exposed, not getting going up and getting Jaden Daniels. Remember, I think Joe Shane's, is 11 or 12, 13, whatever-year-old son was like, go get him. They would have been better off. So they've already screwed this up. Why not go out there, not panic, take a breath, get a year under your belt with these guys, with Wilson and Winston, see what you can do, and know that the future is going to be brighter because next year you can then start new.
All right, college basketball now, Sweet 16. You are, Tom, a nationally known betting expert. So heading into the tournament, NCAA tournament, Sweet 16, is there anyone that's jumping out at you as either an upset or someone that may surprise someone in this round of the tournament?
Well, there's no more upsets anymore. That's it. The day of the NIL has destroyed the Cinderellas. It's hit midnight. It was a disappointing situation to watch the last 2 years. This is the first time since 2017 that there's no 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 seeds in it. We haven't had any big upsets, any big underdogs. We've had one buzzer beater in the Maryland game. It makes for a good second round or a good Sweet 16 and Elite 8 matchups, but people like that Cinderella team. No, all these teams, the highest spread is Duke by 8.5. All of these teams are between 5.5 and 6, so you can see an upset. But is Kentucky upsetting Tennessee really an upset? I mean, Kentucky beat them twice during the year. Is Arkansas, who looks like maybe the biggest upset, led by John Calipari, is that really the upset we're talking about? BYU, only 5-point underdogs right now against Alabama, even though Alabama is number 2 in the country. People don't realize BYU's won 12 of 13 games. So you have maybe some potential upsets, but in my world, you're a 4, 5, 6-point upset underdog, but you're not even getting 2-1 on the money line, so it's not a huge upset.
Now let's turn baseball. Obviously, you're a hardcore Yankees fan. Looking ahead to the season, it starts very soon. What are your thoughts on the upcoming season for the Mets and the Yankees?
I think people are overrating the Mets and underrating the New York Yankees. All I've continued to see is that the Boston Red Sox are going to win this division. I'm asking people, really, who's going to give you 180 innings, right? What player on the Red Sox? They're injured. They have a lot of talent, and they might be good until the All-Star break, but it's going to fall apart because they're starting pitching. Now, the Yankees starting pitching is starting off weak. It's starting off injured. They will start to get healthier. Clark Schmidt, Luis Gil, and I like the moves that they made. People forget, besides just getting a guy like Cody Bellinger and getting a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, which will help the offense, Austin Wells gets a full year, and now they're going to be batting him first. That's huge. Wells can be one of the better offensive and defensive catchers in the league. Anthony Volpe gets another season under his belt. Jason Dominguez is going to come up. He's an exciting spark plug. Adding Devin Williams to that back bullpen with Weaver, man, the Yankees are a lot better than I think people think because it's also weak American League. Now, the Mets, on the other hand, we're talking about World Series, and you hear World Series, and I go, they have one of the worst rotations in baseball. Forget about in their division. And in their division, they have to contend with the Atlanta Braves, who I think are vastly, vastly underrated. They're going to get Spencer Strider and Acuna back, who could be the MVP and Cy Young, on top of Schwellenbach and Chris Sale, who just won the Cy Young, and, of course, that loaded lineup. You have the Philadelphia Phillies, who now go 3 deep when you add Sanchez, Luzardo, you could make 4 deep, with Wheeler and Nola. You still have Bryce Harper there and Schwarber and Turner. I think the Mets are clearly the 3rd best team in their own division. And people are talking about the World Series, where the Yankees are the best team in a weak division, but also in a weak American League. So I think you have to look at them in a different context. But I'm excited about the Yankee season. If I'm a Yankee fan, meaning, hey, we could win the division. Maybe we could go back to the World Series, and then we'll see what happens, where the Mets can have a better team, but the reality is they're probably a 3rd-place team and probably a wild card team.
Interesting time of the year, to say the least. College basketball, NFL, Major League Baseball. You're not going to sleep until, well, never, so just accept it.
There's 2 days around the All-Star break I catch up on my sleep.
All right. Sounds good, buddy. As always, good to see you. And to read all of Tom's stories, go to southshorepress.com and go to the Google machine. We're on Facebook, Twitter, South Shore Press.